Hi, Kevin. Thanks for your post. I just wanted to give you some quick thoughts and some of my comments as I'm looking at your post. Let me just first say that you've pretty much said everything that you need to say very concisely, and you understand the concept. So there's really not a whole lot that I could say about the three things that we were supposed to be looking at. You know, elephant herds, can be very difficult because it just depends on what we're talking about. Collective action might apply to wild elephant herds that cross international boundaries, um, or that are in large national parks because their range is so big. Like elephant herds have a tendency to migrate. So to make that type of herd private can be very, very difficult. When we think of a private elephant herd, we might think of something in an elephant sanctuary, where it's been fenced off and the herd is privatized, or I mean even a group of elephants in a wilderness park or a zoo, or for that matter, even the circus. That group of animals might be considered private. But wild elephant herds aren't the same thing. And one of the things that you mentioned is the poor economic conditions in the regions. And this is what is one of the essential problems with the elephant herds is you might be able to have good enforcement of rules and regulations, and you might be able to protect the herd in one country, in one national park. But as soon as they leave that country and cross borders and begin their migration, then they might be subjected to poachers in another country that doesn't have the resources to enforce protection measures. So the next concept that we were talking about is rivalry and excludability. And in the case of these wild elephant herds, that's the problem, is excludability. We can't keep people away from them because we can't build fences and patrol these fences, because the range is just way too large. And of course, elephants as a resource would be rival in consumption, because as soon as somebody kills an elephant, then the next person can't enjoy it, or can't see it or can't take the ivory, whatever the case may be. It's a limited resource that can't be used by everybody without diminishing the availability of it for somebody else. Like we often think about maybe the air that we breathe as being non-rival, because it doesn't really matter how much air I breathe. The 1,000 people sitting next to me aren't going to have any less air to breathe, as long as we're all outdoors and not in some small room. So because elephant herds, the wild ones, have this excludability problem and they're rival in consumption, that means that we should be thinking of collective action in the management of them. You can't make something private if you can't keep other people away from it, essentially. So the last little portion there is about the precautionary principle, and of course that's just, it almost seems like common sense. Yeah, we probably should be careful that we don't use up a resource, because we're never going to be sure like what contribution it might have in the future to the ecosystems or to the biosphere or to human beings or to research or anything like that. So yeah, we most definitely should exercise the precautionary principle and try to do our best to keep elephant herds around. So that's about it. I think the post is really good. In the rubric for discussion forums, there's still the scholarly support section of the rubric that the only way to meet is by using resources. So you can use your text or anything over here in the course materials section. There's plenty of required resources that might help you come up with something for the discussion forums. And what's really great about all these resources is they already have their APA reference right here for you. You can copy it right into the discussion without any formatting, and just use in-text citations whenever possible. So I know that it's maybe a little bit of a chore to do that in your posts, especially when when you kind of have everything correct. And if you have experience with things and you know your stuff, and can answer the questions, that's great. But scholarly support, and looking into that and doing research is sometimes more about trying to discover something that you don't know, that might add to the discussion and add to the knowledge that you already have. Okay, that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know.